Bueno, como se los prometimos la semana pasada, estamos de regreso con esta entrevista, una entrevista larga, una entrevista que pudimos platicar a fondo, emocionalmente, conectar con pues, un ídolo, con Brian May, guitarrista de Queen, ya lo platicábamos, astrofísico, activista, pero también un hombre con los sentimientos siempre, siempre, siempre presentes y nunca escondiéndolos sin pretensiones. Los dejamos con la segunda parte de la entrevista de Brian May. Right now, when we're coming back to what you did 30 years ago, and now that we realize all that's happened and that we've been through, you say you wouldn't change a thing, but what else would you like to do? What are you seeing that's being created right now?
I'm very affected by the Foo Fighters, if you're asking that kind of question. I relate to them very closely, and I think they have a lot of kind of common ground with us, and the musicianship is amazing. And I don't get the chance to listen very much. I'm ashamed that I don't. I get to hear a certain amount of stuff on the internet and on my Instagram. I hear a lot of kids playing, and I like to try and encourage them. But as far as what's happening in bands, I don't know very much at this moment. And maybe I need to get back into that. I guess I spend a lot of my time when I'm not working on music, I'm working on astrophysics, or I'm working on saving animals, or I'm working on stereoscopy. I have so many compartments in my life now. I don't have time to sit around listening to music, and I wish I did.
The next thing I wanted to ask you, I was watching how you use the song Save Me for your foundation, Save Me with the Animals. Yeah. That means so much as well. So you connect through science, you connect through love with animals, you connect through music. Is it the same? Is it the same kind of process? Because I kind of feel there's something in common there.
Yeah, I think it is. It's hard to explain, but I feel like all the facets of my life add up to me. I feel like they all do connect. With some of them, it's obvious, because the stereoscopy is about finding 3D images, and it's a very nice thing to apply to astrophysics and to astronomy. So I'm in touch with many of the teams who work in NASA and ESA and JAXA, which is the Japanese version, and what I bring to them is stereoscopy. So they're able to see the things that they're working on 3D, and it's also pretty informative in a scientific way. It can give you a great instinctive grasp of what you're looking at. So you can do everything in 3D. And my whole kind of thrust is, why don't we do everything in 3D? Because it's so much more inspiring. And your question is it the same me? Yes, I think it is. I feel that I was forced as a kid to make a choice between art and science, between music and science. It was very painful. I felt I was being ripped apart. Now I know that it was wrong. People should not be forced to give up part of their humanity. Art and science are in some senses the same thing. Now, people may argue with this, but I feel it's true, because there's a lot of computation in maths and whatever. There's a lot of mechanical stuff in music, if you like, but the heart of them both is getting inspired, asking questions, formulating answers to those questions, and building up some kind of dialogue which affects humans. I kind of wish that they were regarded as the same thing, in a sense. Of course, there are compartments, but in the past, it was that way. If you look at Leonardo da Vinci, or you look at Antoine Claudet, who was one of the masters of photography. You look at Fox Talbot, who invented photography on paper. Louis Daguerre, all of these people. Look at Isaac Newton. They were artists and scientists. They never made a distinction. So my heart is like those people. I don't feel that I should have ever had to separate them. I love the fact that I can bring my humanity to different areas and not feel like I'm in the wrong place.
I find it amazing also that people that are at your level, that are not more than I can even count, are the most grounded of all. So
thank you.
How does that happen?
I'm very aware that with all this stuff going on in my private life, I am very small and I am very vulnerable, and I feel a lot of pain. I think I live more in my head than in the real world. So when things go wrong, like in relationships or stuff with my kids, that's my whole world. And I get these moments of panic and pain when I can't make things right in my little world. It's not the cosmos. It's a very small thing, but to me, it's my whole world. So all through my life, I've found it difficult to emotionally adjust and deal with the stuff that comes up in my heart and my brain, because it doesn't always stack up. It doesn't always make sense. So all the material in Back to the Light about looking for the light, feeling confused, feeling pain, is still me. I'm still that person. There's a line in Back to the Light which says, I'm still the same old me inside. That's how I feel now. You know, from pets to domestic animals to the animals that we eat and abuse, to me, it's a constant pain in my heart. I find it unacceptable that we think we are so important that we can trash the rest of creation. So a lot of my life now is spent trying to educate people to realize that every creature matters, not just different races of people, not just different people, but every single species. And not just that, every single individual of every species matters on this planet. Every creature is worthy of respect. And that, to me, I don't even question. I find that is my baseline. It brings me pain, but it also inspires me to do something. And I'm so lucky I have great people here. I have Anne Brummer, who co-founded Save Me with me. And night and day, we are doing what we can on various levels. We rescue animals at the ground level, which is wonderful. You rescue a wild animal and you treat it and give it loving care, and then you release it again into the wild. We get very rewarding moments. We get a lot of frustration. I'm still fighting the badger cull in Britain. They are killing badgers for no good reason in Britain. It's not solving the problems of the farmers. But there are people who are dedicated to killing these wonderful creatures in the mistaken idea that they're curing the problem that farmers are facing with bovine TB and cows. I have so much proof that it's not doing any good, but no one will listen. It's a wall which I come up against every day. You know, we've been fighting fox hunting here in this country. This is an ancient, abusive sport where people glory in tearing foxes apart. I don't know if you have the same thing in your country, but
it's a little bit different culture. But yeah, I mean, bullfights, things like that. Yes, we do.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, to me, it's completely unacceptable, and all my life I will be fighting this stuff.
How can we help? How can we be part of Save Me in the whole world?
Just by talking about it and sort of retweeting what we put out there, I suppose, reposting, getting people engaged, and I think making people realize that there are problems, and we are at the moment making most of these problems worse. Yeah. Humanity, in my mind, needs to come together and look at the world as if they were custodians of the world, because we have the power to save the world or to destroy it, and the balance is right there, right now.
Yeah,
it bothers me greatly. What can you do? Yeah, just spread the word, I think.
I just want to get back to the light and just ask you this thing, since you have like this vision of the whole universe, because you actually do, and then we come straight back. So what is that light? In how many ways would you describe that light? Astronomically, musically, emotionally?
It's a very big question. You saved that for last. Well, I find that exploring the universe does give you a perspective. If you're an intelligent person, you see the universe and you realize how small we are. I mean, infinitesimally small. There are billions of stars in our galaxy. There are billions of planets around all these stars. There are billions of galaxies in the known universe, the observable universe. We don't even know what happens outside the observable universe. So we are infinitesimally small spatially, but we have consciousness. We have life. We have free will, it seems. And we don't know yet if there is any other species, any other planet which has this. We don't know. A lot of people will say, of course there is. There's so many planets. There's bound to be other civilizations. But we don't know. We don't know what were the deciding factors in making life come about on Earth. There are a lot of gray areas. Yes, the organic molecules can form spontaneously, but massive gap between that and the kind of organisms which make up the human body.
Right.
So if you have two infinites and a seemingly almost infinite number of possibilities of planets that could have life, but a seemingly infinitely small chance of it happening. So you don't know. It's like infinity over infinity. You don't know what the answer is. I don't know if there's life out there. I suppose I hope there is, but I'm not as optimistic as most people are. So in some senses, we are incredibly small. In some senses, perhaps we're incredibly important because perhaps we're the only place where this happens. But that doesn't mean just human beings. That means all life.
All of them. Yeah.
All life is important. And every creature is important. So my theme is every creature is worthy of a decent life and a decent death.
Bueno, y así cerramos este momento tan feliz y tan glorioso, pero ya pueden escuchar este disco, Back to the Light, edición deluxe, edición remasterizada, edición, la pueden tener en vinil además es un vinil blanco espectacular, la pueden tener en prácticamente cualquier formato. Las nuevas generaciones, como él dijo, que no han tenido la oportunidad de acercarse a esta música, creo que se van a sorprender mucho del poder que tiene un hombre brillante, con talento y con las emociones a tope. Gracias. Gracias, Brian May. Gracias, equipo. Esto ha sido, francamente, un sueño hecho realidad. Qué bueno que lo compartimos. Hasta la próxima.